If you want more FIFA content from me, I'm now uploading exclusive videos to Patreon. The link for that is down below. And if you want to avoid the random lottery that is FIFA points, you can go straight to the source with u7buy.com. And of course, you can use the code TVM at checkout to get yourself a discount. What is going on, guys? TVM here. Welcome back to yet another player review. I have managed to acquire the FUT Birthday Bakayoko, which of course is available through objectives. This is the online one. I will try and get the, what's his name? Is it Cardona? I think it's Cordoba, isn't it? The Cologne striker. I'll try and get him done as well, but the problem with that is that squad battles is a testing thing. It's not difficult to do. I can do it. It's just boring to do, right? And of course, you can't really do anything else while it's on. I can't review anyone. I can't build towards weekend league. I can't do anything like that. So it is literally just a case of getting all that done. We'll see. Anyway, here to talk about Bakayoko. Is it worth your time to grind? To be fair, most of us will be able to grind this without paying too much attention to it anyway. If you play your fair share of rivals, of course, if you play weekend league, and you don't really touch rivals, then you're going to have to go out of your way to do it. But if you're just playing rivals and you just pop a French person in there, you're fine. A French player, not a French person. A French player in there, an attacker in particular. You'll get most of it done without even thinking about it, just playing your games. And then maybe after, I don't know, 5 or 6 games throughout the week, maybe even 10 games throughout the week, you can sort of take a look to see where you are and then just sort of finish things off, really. It wasn't that difficult to do, just time-consuming more than anything. With that being said, we are going to talk about some of his stats because there are some really good things and there are some really not so great things about this card. The first of which is something that a lot of people will look at, and some people will think it's a good thing and other people will think it's a bad thing, and that's the height. Now, 6'2", last FIFA, fantastic. This FIFA, for me personally, I'm not a massive fan of it. Now, centre-backs being tall, I don't mind. Outfield players, sort of midfield and up, I'm not a massive fan of it. I would prefer them to be in the 5'10" or lower region. Reason for that is, of course, I'd like them to be agile, and Bakayoko just simply isn't. 74 agility, 66 balance. That isn't great, especially when you're 6'2". He can feel very heavy. Now, I used him as a CDM, drop between the two centre-backs. And then, of course, I did move him up a little bit into the central midfield role. Some of the clips you may see him sort of further forward. I was just sort of messing around with it and trying to get him to, trying to get the most out of him and see where he performed best. I do have Kante on... I actually did him on a completely different account, but I've got Kante on my Road to Glory account, which I'll work towards over the coming days. And the plan is really to link Amavi, FUT Birthday Amavi at left back, the new Saar FUT Birthday card that's available as an SBC at centre back, and then put Bakayoko in there so we can have some sort of like French League triangle. And then I can link in Kante to get the Premier League on the right side. That was the plan. And I'm not sure because Bakayoko throws up a lot of questions, really. It's a case of, can you play this guy in your starting 11 team? Can you play him in a FUT Champs team? He's going to be one that a lot of people like, and he's going to be one that a lot of people don't like. Now, the beauty of this, of course, is that he's free. So you're not going out there and spending 100, 200,000 coins or completing an SBC and having him untradeable that you can't do anything with. You are literally playing the game, and if you pick him up, and you don't like him, guess what? Doesn't really make a blind bit of difference. You've worked towards some rewards for rivals, and of course, you get this card as well. If you don't like him, you can just put him in an SBC. So there we go. Now, in terms of movement and mobility, we talked about the agility, we talked about the balance. He feels quite, for lack of a better word, heavy on the ball. And even off the ball, you know, like when you're on the ball, you're obviously you're hampered by the fact that you are trying to control it, and that in game makes you feel a little bit slower. Even players like, you know, someone like Neymar, for example, if he's off the ball and he's just jockeying, he's going to feel super fast. As soon as he touches the ball, he won't feel anywhere near as fast as what he did without the ball. That's just real life. That's FIFA. That's everything. So with Bakayoko, when he's on the ball, he feels very heavy. Without the ball, his jockey isn't terrible. It's a little bit like responsive and quick, but it's just not to the degree of some other CDMs. You know, I'm going to refer to Kante a lot here because he's the CDM I use the most. That guy is super responsive. His jockey is brilliant. I actually reviewed Ndidi earlier today, and Ndidi is very similar in terms of height, but what Ndidi has is a lean body type. Now, Bakayoko has average plus, which is very close to stocky. Bakayoko has the height, which sort of takes away from the stockiness, if that makes sense. Is that a word, stockiness? I don't think so. But you've seen some of the clips play out in the background now, and you may be able to tell from it that he doesn't feel super quick on the jockey compared to some of your other players, but it's kind of something you'd expect really at 6'2". With a powerhouse chem style, which is of course what we have here, he does go up to a 95 rated CDM, which does give him an awful lot of advantages over other CDMs. Now, if you are telling him to stay back while attacking, or telling him to drop between the two centre-backs, which is exactly what I've done in most cases here, chances are you're going to get on with this guy just fine. He is very, very capable in terms of dropping back and just keeping his position. He's got medium work rates, which means he's not going to bust a gut to get forward, and he's not going to bust a gut to get back, which can be problematic, and I will actually put that down as a con when we come to the review breakdown, because it is a bit of a negative, because not everyone's going to play how I've used the card, but if you are the type of person to put your CDM in there in terms of stay back while attacking, chances are it's not going to cause you too many problems, because of course he's not going to venture forward. He doesn't need to venture back because he's already there. So that's not bad. Having a 5-star weak foot is a blessing for sure. The fact that you can play it out left or right. He's got very good passing, to be fair, especially with that chem star. Boosted up to 99 short passing, 99 long, and 99 vision. I mean, let's be honest, you literally can't get better than that. I don't know why. There must be a reason. Maybe it is something to do with the ball control, dribbling, even the reactions, balance and agility to a certain extent. His passing isn't 99. It doesn't feel that accurate. It's not like wherever I pass, it's going to hit the target. But that's not to say that his passing is bad either. I just want to point out that you're not going to get the best passer that ever lived just by putting a powerhouse chem style on Bakayoko. There are definitely better passes of the ball out there, but that's not to say that he's not good. A very, very capable player in that sense of the word. As we come into the review breakdown, we can see that in the pros and cons section, there aren't that many cons necessarily, and of course we've already talked about 3 of them, agility, balance, and the work rates. The positioning is something definitely worth noting, because his positioning is really frustrating to me. If you have him on stay back while attacking or drop between the two centre-backs, he's not that bad in terms of positioning, because you are literally telling him where to go. You're telling him how far to push back, and obviously he's got no desire to come forward because of those work rates, or at least very little desire. So chances are he's going to remain in that CDM spot. If you try and play him as a central midfield player, it just doesn't really work. A, he doesn't have the mobility, and B, his positioning sends him all over the place. You know, he's trying to get forward, which is pointless because he has 63 long shots, and there's just nothing he can do up there. And then, of course, he's trying to come back, but he's not quick enough to come back. So he's kind of caught in no man's land an awful lot. I think if you get this card, trying to play him anywhere other than a CDM role, you are going to struggle. If you have maybe, you play a 4-3-3 or a 4-4-2, and you leave him completely instructionless, I think then also you'll struggle. What you need to do is tell him what to do. If you're mad and you put him as a cam and attempt to stay forward, you'll get more use out of him than if you leave him as a centre mid and don't put any instruction on him, if that makes any sense. So putting him as a CDM, stay back while attacking, you're laughing. Now, I've got him as a starting 11 underneath the cons there. You can see that I'm recommending that he be started. Now, this isn't going to be for everybody. I could easily have put a backup 11 down there like I have been last couple of days with a few reviews, saying, look, it's not for everybody. He will fit some people starting 11. He won't fit others. And it's the same for Bakayoko. Even though I've put starting 11, he's not necessarily going to go into everyone's team. It's not going to be a player that everyone can just whack into their starting 11. It's going to improve it, because there are definitely, like for instance, if it was him or Kante, I'd be choosing Kante all day long. So if you've got that decision to make, I've just made it for you. But there are definitely some situations, like me, I'm going to move Kante into a central midfield role. I'm going to put Bakayoko as my CDM, and I'm going to play with that for a while. Because I definitely think it'll work, and it might improve things. Kante as a CM is going to be a bit of a monster, to be fair, but that's just what that means. Now, in terms of his overall, yes, I've given him an 86. He is in a class 2. He's not meta, but I do recommend him. So the overall question is Is it worth picking up? Yes, it may have sounded a little bit negative from me with movement and things like that, but generally speaking, he's a very good tackler of the ball. He's got very capable passing. He's strong. His weak foot is brilliant, and it's a free card at the end of the day. I would 100% recommend him. Let me know down below whether you have, or maybe you have already completed it, or maybe you've started it, or maybe you are considering doing it. If you have enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and until the next time, goodbye.
Football Index. The game changed. Download the app now.